Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to talk about, well, first off, this is Julia.
Hello.
My fiance, and we just saw last night the Bob Dylan movie, A Complete Unknown, and today's Christmas, so Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy New
Yeah,
Year.
Happy holidays, and anything you celebrate, you know. We have birds, that's, if you hear in the background, we have birds.
They're always in the background.
Yeah, we just wanted to do a little, free thoughts about the movie that we saw last night with Timothy Chalamet, Elle Fanning, and some other great actors.
Yeah, do you want to go first?
You go.
Well, we've been watching reviews and some interviews of Timothy Chalamet and kind of like the backstory of how he got into the role. So I kind of already knew that he had a lot of preparation for this role, which I think I think he was preparing like 5 or 6 years. He knew he was going to play the part. So when someone is becoming a character for that long, I did have high expectations, just from what I heard. Like, he brought a guitar to like the Willy Wonka set and was playing some Bob Dylan songs and
in the Wonka outfit.
Oh my god.
That would be a funny sight.
Yeah. And then a few days ago they came out with the album, and so we were listening to his voice before we saw the movie, and we were like, that sounds really good. Like, this sounds really, really good. He sounds like him, and it's believable, especially the music. Like, not just his voice, but the music behind it was like an exact replica.
Whoever recorded the soundtrack did a great job, and I don't have the notes on who did that, but the songs sound really true to
what was the one with
material.
Like the
Highway 61
Yeah, that one sounds exactly like the music behind it. If you play the beginning of the original Bob Dylan song and then this one from the movie, it's like exactly the same.
With that whistle. And I really love the scene in the movie where he gets the whistle and he blows on it and he throws the guy $5 or whatever. And then he uses it in the studio, and
he attaches it to his harmonica thing.
Yeah, it's just such a cool little moment. And I don't know how true to Dylan's story this is. I'm personally reading the book that this was inspired by. It's Dylan Goes Electric. And it's a really great book so far. I just got a Kindle, which is really good investment because I love reading on the Kindle now. It makes
all the books.
It makes my eyes pretty easy to read. But this film, he did such a great job capturing Dylan's persona. I think a few scenes are definitely more substantially accurate than others. I know the love triangle thing was it actually wasn't legitimate between the characters. Yeah, Joan and...
Really?
Yeah. Because in 65 or 66, Dylan had another love interest, and they just expanded upon the 3 characters in a way that, they had to do it for the film because it makes for a good story. But
there's some give and take. What I was gonna say though is that it exceeded my expectations fully. I did have high expectations already, and everyone's been going crazy over Wicked, and I was like, I'm a huge theater person. I love Wicked, and I thought this was better. Yeah. Maybe an unpopular opinion, but it was incredible.
The night when we saw Wicked, I said, well, you were talking about how the singers for Wicked were much more professionally.
Just stop picking it up. It's okay.
There's this button, when you press it, it stops the recording, and it's so cool. Anyway, when we saw Wicked, you were saying how the singers for that were professionally trained, and
I just was going on about how incredible their singing is.
Yeah, and I was saying how Timothy Chalamet was just as up there, and I think we were
took a shot at him, I think.
Well, what did you think after watching it, though? Do you think he did a great job?
I think he did a phenomenal job. I really think he did a phenomenal job. And the thing is, too, is like, I think he's a great singer on his own without playing a character, but that was kind of shocking to me. But you also have to get all of the inflections in his voice. And so it's almost like a more tedious process to really replicate, you know, this lived existing person today. You know, in a movie like Wicked, just because we were talking about it, they could kind of make the characters their own, and it could sound a little bit more like them.
This was
different.
Live in Wicked?
They did sing live in Wicked. They also sang live in. He sang.
But
live.
I love how he plays the guitar parts, and everyone, even.
Yeah, that was
Norton,
pretty.
who did Pete Seeger, he was great at the banjo and the way that he sung. The guy that played Johnny Cash,
Yeah, he
did
was good.
a phenomenal job. The way that when he sings at the folk festival, I thought that was just, it blew me away. And the scene where there's a scene where Johnny Cash is drunk and he's hitting into the cars.
Do you think that's a true story?
I don't know.
Spoiler.
No, I think there's a clip of it online anyway. But
okay, yeah.
What did you think about? I think that there were certain build-ups in this film, and obviously, it's based on the book Dylan Goes Electric, and it shows his progression from being a folk artist into a rock and roll sort of star.
I think,
and he's not really a star at the folk festival because obviously it takes a really harsh turn. And I think that they mix in a few things here, because there's a scene at the folk festival when he's getting booed, and somebody yells out Judas, and he says, "I don't believe you." That happens at the Royal Albert Hall concert. They just mixed it in. They just blended it together. And then he says, "Play it fucking loud." It was just they did a great job at it. I think it was, they obviously had to make it a little exaggerated for the effect of making it that huge build up in the film. But, and I also loved how they played the Kinks in the hotel room, and the promoters of the show are saying, "This is the kind of music you want to play." And he's like, "Oh, it's the Kinks." It was just, I don't know. He's just so coy in the film, and he's just very sarcastic, and he did a great job.
I loved, Dylan and I had a conversation on the way home, how he's kind of, in the film, he's not like the nicest, most exuberant guy. He's kind of like the anti-hero in a way, because he's just very authentically himself, and he says the truth. And I know that people have said that about him in real life too, and how he just like, he doesn't have like bodyguards or anything. He just like kind of walks around.
Yeah,
and that's a thing. Like I know that he does that for a fact.
I like seeing the village too. How he just goes to the different clubs like the Gaslight and Cafe Wa, and he's just sitting listening to music. And there's the scene where he's in the club and he's listening to this band playing, and somebody says, "There he is, it's Dylan."
And I like ruined the song.
He goes to leave, and he has this aura about him, and the girl tries taking off his glasses. She's like, "Is it really him?" And then he's like, "Stop!" And then her boyfriend punches him.
Yeah. Is that true?
I don't know, to be honest. It's probably not. A lot of this film, they have to make scenes that you would think would happen. And I heard, didn't we hear that Bob Dylan added a fake scene into it?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not.
I think that the fake scene, this is my guess, I'm sure it's gonna come out. So, this is written down. I think that the fake scene is one of the ones of him with
Woody Guthrie?
With Woody. That's what I think.
In the end, where he's playing...
Just one of them.
It's cool to see... Oh my god, that was pretty emotional seeing him in the hospital.
Whoever played him was incredible.
Yeah, he did a great job. And I'm not good with names. I don't know actors' names. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he did a really good, really, really good job.
And Joan Baez was great, and
Her voice was beautiful.
Elle Fanning did a great job too. I think there was a really emotional scene where he was playing.
With
What
Joan.
was it? He was playing with Joan. I think
It
it
was,
was It Ain't Me, Babe.
Mm-hmm. And they, you know, they were looking at each other.
Yeah, and she could tell that they had a relationship. That was her revelation. She was like, oh, this has been happening for years. I knew it in that moment. And
Yeah.
she starts crying and she goes away. And
I wonder if that was real too.
I don't know.
You know, let's get a fact check on the movie.
Yeah. It was a story.
Yeah.
You know, it was a Bob Dylan story. And I hope they make the next few years. You know, the Blonde on Blonde and him getting into his motorcycle accident and stopping touring and coming back to touring. I hope that they do the Bob Dylan Christmas album movie, which we were just listening to. I got
where is
Today's Christmas, and hold up. In the spirit of Christmas, thank you to Julia's family. I was gifted Christmas in the Heart by Bob Dylan. And
phenomenal.
this album, I think, is one of the greatest albums of all time. I'm not just saying that.
Look at that.
I'm definitely
And the
not.
thread.
I'm definitely not just saying that. It's one of the greatest albums of all time.
Must
Be Santa. His version of Must Be Santa, I think,
Must be Santa. But it's like,
should be heard by everyone in the world.
you did a good impression earlier.
Who's gotta be this red and white? Santa gotta do that red and white. Can't do it.
Must be Santa. That's what he sounds like. But it's incredible.
Yeah. It's really great.
It's
And
entertaining.
it's been a good Dylan-filled Christmas, and I'm very lucky that my mom and dad named me Dylan because it feels good.
Yeah.
And
It's a good name.
anyway, we just wanted to talk a little bit about the film that we saw last night. We're seeing it again tomorrow with a bunch of coworkers and family, and we needed to see it on Christmas because it was a really special thing.
Yeah, it was also our 2-year anniversary.
Yes, it was.
Yesterday,
So, but it was a great film. I would give it out of 10, I would probably give it like an 8.5 or 9 out of 10. The only thing that I think could have made it better was taking out the scene with Joan Baez and Bob Dylan where she's in her underwear and he's almost naked and it was just a little cringe.
Yeah, that was the only scene that I was like, I don't know.
They could have taken it out. I don't know. Just my personal opinion.
I think it was like it was the acting there.
Yeah, it was those two actors.
She did a great job. I think I loved him like throughout the entirety of the film. For some reason,
I think it was because he was almost
scene,
naked.
No, it was like his mouth.
Yeah, but he was he was shirtless and in his undies.
Yeah, it wasn't
Whatever.
my favorite.
But the rest of the film, I would give it a 9 out of 10, to be honest. What would you give it? A 9?
Yeah, 8.59. I really enjoyed it, you know.
I also think that I would have liked to see more of his arrival to meeting Woody Guthrie because there's much more to the story. He was friends with a lot of the people in the village, and Dave Van Ronk was one of his close friends, and that's how they started drinking, and I believe when he started smoking weed. I wish that they went into that a little bit more because he was a huge stoner. Like, if he was true to character, they would have shown that a little bit more.
They should do, you know, the next 4 years of his life and like how that happened. That was your idea. Actually.
Meeting the band. And that it would be cool to see the Rolling Thunder review, and they did the documentary on that. But anyway, it was just for what it was. I thought it was a great film.
Yeah, the best biopic I've seen. I've
me
seen,
too.
You know, there's a lot of biopics or just movies now that are, you know, very
mid.
Like they're just Hollywood. They're too much. There's a lot. It's like overstimulating. This was like that really realistic, healthy balance of a movie.
It was. And there's just some thoughts on it. Thanks for watching.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everything. Yeah, thanks for being in the video. We'll do more. All right, all the best.